Hello there. Welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie on EWTN. Great to have you with us. It is a joy. It's a privilege, really, for us to spend this not quite a full hour with you every Monday through Friday. And we are going to invite your calls and your takes today. It's a Veterans Day. How many of us don't know someone who is in the military, who has served, who's retired, who is active? And especially if you are active duty or reserve, if you're in one of the branches of the military right now, we'd love to hear from you. What does Veterans Day mean to you? Do you feel supported? Do you feel appreciated by your country? And if you want to give kudos to someone who is serving now or has served, give us a call. I myself have known so many people. My brother-in-law retired from the Marines after 20-plus years. I want to give Larry Dorsey a great shout-out. My brother Joe Usher, 23 or 24 years in the Navy. So it's been in our family. And, Debbie, I imagine it has. Oh, I will take it from here until we get her back. So again, and I mentioned the military that I have known people who have served. Some of the best, the finest, really military people I've ever known have been military chaplains. So if you've known a chaplain maybe in the military who has supported you in your life and your faith walk, let us hear about that today. 9396 1-800-585-9396. You can comment on our Facebook page. It's EWTN Catholic Radio. Or you can send us an email. It's take2@EWTN.com. So, again, it's Veterans Day. It's a day that we celebrate, really, in particular, those who have served and are retired. That's what we call it, of course, Veterans Day. But again, we're just kind of expanding this a little bit today to if you know someone who is actively serving right now, they will be a veteran at some point. And what was your experience in the military, serving our country? How was your faith supported while you were in whatever branch of the military that you were in? The number is 1-800- 396. And I'm looking at Debbie, and
okay.
I don't know if we have her. There she is.
Yeah, hi. How are you? Yeah, I was just I was listening to you, Jerry. You sounded great. This was awesome. Huh? Okay,
Yeah. Well, I was going to say most people probably think we're in the same location for the show, but we're not. Debbie's at home in Phoenix, and I'm at home in Southern California.
Right, but we can see each other.
So we're on Skype.
Yes, we are on Skype, and we can see each other. And I didn't know if I got to mention this before, Jerry, on a previous show, but I'm holding a very heavy. It's a gold-plated coin. It's not, real gold, but it's a kind of a souvenir kind of coin. It's very heavy, and it was given to me by a veteran, and it was so beautiful. It was given to me by a veteran in the airport in Birmingham, Alabama, when I was leaving the EWTN radio conference to fly back to Phoenix. And this wonderful gentleman is a veteran, and he really and truly touched my soul because he has served in the military and served very brilliantly and very courageously. And he was a much older gentleman. He had just lost his only grandson in a tragic accident. And he spends his whole ministry life going around to schools sharing about patriotism, the military, and he weaves in the love of Jesus Christ. And he leaves this gold coin with people that he feels that, really kind of, he wants to, touch or inspire or understands it. And the coin has the American flag on the back, and it has a cross, and it's tied together. And then it says, thousands died for my freedom. One died for my soul. And on the other side, it says, believe on the Lord Jesus Christ, and you will be saved, from Acts. And it's a beautiful coin, and he goes around the whole entire country. Now, I heard, unfortunately, that there's a couple school districts in the areas that are very kind of anti-Christian kind of liberal areas of our country, some school districts have banned him from coming in and talking to the children. And that's really unfortunate because he really, was just a beautiful man. And to meet him, it inspired me so much. And it made me realize even more so about my family and extended family that served in the military. What a courageous thing to do. What a sacrificial thing to do. What a beautiful, patriotic, amazingly, it's a hero. If you serve in the military, you are a hero. And I just wanted to share that. I couldn't wait for the show to share about this gold coin.
Yeah, I think, Debbie, so many times of the sacrifices that our service personnel have made. I remember the movie Saving Private Ryan. Did you ever see that movie?
Oh, yes.
And, the first ones to arrive at, Omaha Beach, they literally knew they were headed to their deaths, and they still went anyway. They were the first ones out there. First ones to make landings, so to speak, and really were the sacrificial lambs, that helped to kind of pave the way. So let us hear from you, listeners. Who has made a sacrifice in the military? Perhaps if you have tragically maybe lost a loved one in the military, maybe even recently, and you just want to honor that person, his or her memory, we'd be happy to do that here on the show today. This is really the show's about you, our listeners. So the number is 1-800-585-9396.
So, and I just wanted to share, I probably had forgotten to share because I was holding the coin and getting kind of emotional. The gentleman, the veteran that I met, his name is Carl, a beautiful, and if you can pray, keep him in your prayers and for his family, because he just lost his only grandson to that accident. Very, 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 very sad. But, going back to a Veterans Day, and this is the day where we really just get to be in great gratitude for everyone that has sacrificed before us. Because like I like to say, Jerry, we wouldn't be sitting here today with the freedoms we have and the ability to even talk on the radio airwaves if it wasn't for so many people that sacrificed before us to help us to where we are today. So this is a day where we really, I would say we really should go out there and everybody we meet and say, hey, did you serve in the military? Thank you. Thank you for your service. I think it's a great honor, and I think it would be wonderful for us to acknowledge that honor. And so the phone calls are coming in. Our listeners are really, really quick. I just want to let you know that. So if you want to jump in, dial 1-800-585-9396.
And we're going to go to a break here in a couple minutes. Again, if you maybe you have a particular tradition on Veterans Day, you go visit the gravesite of your father, your grandfather, son or a daughter. Again, if they've lost their life, and Debbie, this just ties in so amazingly with our faith. That coin that you were reading, thousands died for my freedom, one died for my salvation. When you think about some of the heroic things that our service men and women have done, it's so Christ-like in a way, So this just ties in so beautifully to so many important faith principles.
Absolutely, Jerry. That's why I wanted to share that coin and how beautiful it is. And even on the back of the coin with the flag intertwined with the cross. I mean, it really, truly does, dear listeners. So this is the time where we want you to call in and share your thankfulness, your gratitude, your experience. Share with us so we can grow at 1-800-585-9396. We're going to take that break right now. When we come back, we're going to continue to be in gratitude for all of the veterans, the men and women who served so heroically, the ones who went before us and made us who we are today. Stay with us on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. We'll be right back.
Father Capodanno was a Marine chaplain in the Vietnam War. His Marines loved him because he always put his life second to their needs. A battle broke out where 500 Marines were surrounded by 2,500 North Vietnamese army. One man was about to be killed when Capodanno picked him up, threw him through the air into a ditch, and saved his life. Another man was hit with shrapnel. When Capodanno got up to him, a bubble of peace descended. All he heard was the chaplain's voice. God is with us. Someone will get you out. Father Capodanno didn't make it out that day. He was running to minister to a medic and was shot 27 times in the back. He got the Medal of Honor. The USS Capodanno was named after him. He's been declared Servant of God by the Catholic Church. His name is in the Vietnam War Memorial, and the only way to see it is to kneel. The way he died is how we're supposed to live. This is Chris Stefanik from reallifecatholic.com on EWTN Radio.
What's stopping you from becoming a Catholic?
Why can't women become priests?
I don't understand why I have to earn salvation.
How is it possible that God created everything?
Why do I need to confess my sins to a
Why is the
priest?
Catholic Church so unwilling to
The Catholic Church is too rich.
Catholics worship Mary and are
As
committed.
far as I'm concerned, all religions are equal.
You are called to communion with Dr. David Anders. Today, 2 p.m. Eastern, on the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network.
Hello, this is Johnette Benkovic. Thanks for listening to the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network.
Thanks for joining us on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. It is Veterans Day, and this is why we are talking about it. We are going to share your takes. We're going to share your comments from social media. We're going to continually have a great conversation about all the men and women that have served in the military so bravely. I mean, there's so many adjectives you could describe the military in a sense that is just makes your heart, pound with joy, being brave and courageous and fearless and having a sacrificial, mannerism. That's what our military does. I think you can kind of tell that I absolutely love the military, because I think it takes a special person to go into the military. I think it takes a special person to survive so many things that are seen, that you can't really even talk about in the real world. And I think it takes a special person to finish serving in the military and come back and adjust back into the regular world, if you will, and kind of have to deal with all the rest of us that don't understand sometimes what the military has to go through. So thank you from the bottom of my family's heart. And the phone lines are filling up, 1-800-585-9396. I'm Debbie Georgiani with Jerry Usher. And Jerry, I just, can you tell I love the military?
Yeah, it's a great gratitude that I share with you. And we have a lot of calls we're going to get to here at 1-800-585-9396. Share your take, your gratitude. Heard from Lorraine. Lorraine on Facebook, EWTN Catholic Radio, says, "My father and his two brothers were in World War II. They are all deceased. My father taught me to always be loyal and support our servicemen and women. We displayed flags, parades honoring them, the poppies sold in front of the grocery stores, which today is rare." And Lorraine says, "I'm proud to be an American, and I am so grateful for their service." And we're going to hear from more of you right now. Ricky is in Fort Black, North Carolina, listening on Sirius XM 130. Ricky, welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. You get to lead off today. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing well, thank you. I was just amazed that I don't know what made me turn to EWTN at this moment, but it was amazing what you've been saying about veterans and especially about chaplains. I served for 22 years. I did a lot of joint service things, so I served with just about every branch in all kinds of situations. I think that I appreciate what you said about it takes a special kind of person, and that when you finish, you can't really just talk to anybody, and that part is true. That I'm fortunate enough to be in the VFW, which I get to talk to veterans that go all the way back to World War II about my concerns or misgivings or anything, and they're very, very supportive here in Fayetteville. I'm right by Fort Bragg, but today I was calling for an urgent need at the VA hospital, if that would be okay, for a chaplain. Is that okay?
Absolutely. I'm not sure how much help we can do in getting you a chaplain there. Are you saying there isn't one, Ricky? Is that the issue? Or
I'm saying that we have an excellent chaplain staff at the VA hospital in Fayetteville. I used to help the Catholic chaplain, but his health started to decline, and he's been gone now from the hospital for about, I want to say it's been 6 months or maybe 8 months. And he made a lot of day and night difference. You know, he held services at the chapel for the employees and for the patients. And when he was finished with that, he would go around the wards and you know, bring in communion to the patients and et cetera. And as good and as professional and everything as the Protestant chaplain is, they can only do so much. They do manage to put holy water out for us, but we really, really need a priest. And there is an opening there for somebody to be on staff, or I'm sure they'd be interested in a volunteer, but we definitely need a priest. And all the churches in this area are already strapped for help. So if there's a way to put that word out, I'm sure they'd be more than grateful to hear from anybody.
Yeah, Ricky, I don't know. We certainly can't, be of direct help with that. This is certainly a matter for the Archdiocese, for the military. Let me, Debbie, if you've got some comment there, I'm going to look up the website for them.
Okay, yeah, that would be great. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the best connection. Jerry, you cut out just a little bit, so I couldn't hear what you said, but I was saying to call the diocese just to make sure that, that they know that there is a need, because it's definitely, like you said, Ricky, it's there's a different element that is brought into any organization when a Catholic priest is present. I mean, you'll find that anywhere in hospitals, in the VA. You'll even find it on, and I know this is a total separate topic, but even on cruise ships, when people are on cruise ships, and there's a difference between having a Christian chaplain and then a Catholic chaplain. There's a very big difference. So I agree with you. If there is a need, and you said there is, it would be great to, maybe communicate that, and you started that already, so maybe someone else is listening and they could pass the word on. Or Jerry, I know you said you just looked up the site maybe.
Yeah, the website for the Archdiocese for the Military Services is www.mil, M-I-L, short for military, M-I-L, Arch, A-R-C-H, milarch.org. And Ricky, that might be the place to start there. Have you been in contact with anyone there, Ricky?
At my particular parish, everybody around here, the Pope Air Force Base, Fort Bragg, the local churches in the community, everyone is aware of this. It's just finding someone. I even asked an Orthodox priest I ran into in Harris Teeter, but so the Archdiocese of Raleigh, they're aware, and there's on USA.jobs, I think there's an ad already announcing it. It's Perfect. Just that they haven't been able to acquire anyone, and every time I go to the hospital and I hear like code blue, if I'm going for my own prescription, and I hear that, my heart skips, because I'm thinking, gee, I wonder, is that somebody who needs a priest, or is that just, so
right.
It's an urgent, I would call it an emergency. It's an urgent need to have either a volunteer or a staff person there. And it doesn't matter how the word is passed. If you just hear me, or if you just, bump into
right.
somebody, it would be great.
Ricky, you did a great job sharing it today, and so we appreciate that very much. Now we have to turn to prayer, that God brings the right person to help fill that, because you like you said, you don't want to have to that anxiousness that you're feeling when you hear that emergency signal go across the horns. You don't need to have to do that. You want to rest assured that there could potentially be the need for a Catholic priest to get there right away, and we agree with you. So we're going to pray. So know that you have a prayer group around you praying for this, and please call us back, because I believe in my heart of hearts that the Blessed Mother, because that's who I'm going to pray to, is not going to let us down. So call us back when someone does step up and fill that need that you have there, and so we can share and give praise and glory up to heaven. And Ricky, I don't know if Jerry got a chance to share this, but thank you so very much for your years of service, and thank you from the bottom of our hearts. So Jerry?
Yeah, thank you, Ricky, for that. 1-800-585-9396. I'm going to go to Charlie next in Des Moines, Iowa, listening on Iowa Catholic Radio. Charlie, I think, has a very important point to make for us today here on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Hello, Charlie. Welcome to the program. Are you there, Charlie?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, Charlie.
Yeah, go right ahead, sir. Thank you for calling.
Okay, yeah. First, number one, I'm of the Vietnam area, 1969, 82nd Airborne, and first I got to say thank you for saying thank you, because it took 30 years for somebody to tell me thank you for your service, and all those who served, I appreciate it, and I don't know what else to say. Yeah, but thank you for saying thank you.
Well, wow. And Charlie, I was young back then. I don't know. I remember seeing and hearing and reading things, and I thought, what is this? I mean, these are men and women who are serving our country. They may not, they may be in a situation they don't want to be in, but they're, you kind of have to go where you're told to go, and it was an ugly time.
Well, I chose to do that. I can remember back then. I came back because I was in a bad frame of mind anyway. I was in infantry. I was carried a 60 as 82nd Airborne, and my sister died, so I came home for a funeral. And I had to go to Chicago to come back here to Des Moines. And this guy come up to me, and anyway, I said, God, help me out of this here. Because anyway, yeah, he came up and said something to me, and I just kind of walked away, basically. But now I've had people saying, thank you. And I goes, thank you for saying thank you. I appreciate that, yeah. And all those people who served, yeah. I appreciate it.
Right. Charlie, I think what's so beautiful about what you just said is, someone is giving you the gratitude, the compliment, and you immediately give it back. Thank you for saying thank you. And when you said that, I mean, I just had tears that just welled up in my eyes because I thought, wow, you're still giving. You're still, you're still serving. And see, that's what I think is so beautiful about the military that I think we forget is that's who their hearts are. That's who they are. And when I said that earlier about, it takes a special person, and Ricky commented on that, the caller right before you, who said, she feels it does take a special person. God ordains us to do all different things, and we're given the gifts, whatever they are, internally inside of us. And if you say yes, and you said yes to the military, your gifts get to shine. And I just think that is just so beautiful, and your heart really speaks very loudly. And so, again, I'm going to say thank you, and I know you're going to throw it right back, but thank you.
When I get on the other side, I'll give my guardian angel a high five, because I tell you what, I wouldn't be here talking to you, because I shouldn't be here, because God, my guardian angel, and there must be a purpose for me. I don't know what it is, but anyway, came out.
Amen.
And had a nice family, got grandkids and stuff like that. But anyway, thank you for saying thank you.
Oh, bless you, Charlie. Beautiful call.
Yeah, you're welcome, Charlie. And JP has, I believe, a similar point. JP, we want to save you for right after the break, which is coming right up. We can't move this break, so we do want to give you all the time that you need. So JP, hang on, and Mary Ann and Mary Catherine. And we've got a phone line open here honoring and thanking our veterans today. Who would you like to honor? What would you like to say? What is your take on this? 1-800-585-9396. And I would just kind of add to what I was saying regarding what Charlie said. I know he came back, Debbie, and said, he made the choice. He signed up. He chose to go there. I'm just getting back, though, to the almost the way the media kind of presented the post-Vietnam thing. And in my mind, I live in the media. It's my world, so I know the influence that the media have, and they can really shape the thinking of a country. And I just remember there being so much negativity and calling them, baby killers and all this stuff. And I was young, I was in like junior high or something, and I just would think, what? What? I don't understand this. And so I don't know why. I think it's a blight on our nation's history that mentality was sort of propagated and perpetuated by some people. And, I really wish we could kind of go back and undo it, especially for the sake of people like Charlie and JP, who's coming up.
Well, yeah, and I know we got to go to break really quickly, and you're going to hear that music. When we come back, I just want to touch on that, Jerry, because that's how the celebrities in Hollywood were used during that time in a very detrimental way. And we can't have that again in this day and age. We have to learn from history. So you hear that music, dear listeners. We're coming back to take two right after this break. Stay with us.
When you listen to Women of Grace Live, it's not possible to come away from that hour without feeling encouraged, without feeling inspired, without feeling that you've just had the opportunity to enter into holy conversation. This holy conversation comes by way of the many callers who share with us the concerns of their heart, the issues that they're facing. I'm Janet Benkovic, inviting you to join me weekday mornings at 11 Eastern for Women of Grace on the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network.
60 Seconds with Mother Angelica.
Do you know yourself? Nobody knows himself. That's why if somebody says, "Why are you so impatient?" you say, "I'm not impatient." Or, "Why are you so angry all the time?" Who's angry? I'm never angry. Okay. We don't know ourselves. You know, I've told you that there's so many of these mystics have said that the Lord would come one day and give us a warning, that we would see ourselves as He sees us. Oh, that would be a shock, huh? Somebody sent me a videotape. We watched it the other night. These people who had death experiences, they all saw this light, but what they all saw was themselves. And they were surprised. Well, if you know yourself, you wouldn't be surprised, would you?
The people you know and trust are on EWTN.
For a complete list of the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network AM and FM stations across America, go to EWTN.com. Look for the radio pull-down menu and select AM/FM stations. The list is updated regularly, so visit often. Again, go to EWTN.com. Look for the radio pull-down menu and select AM/FM stations. Also at EWTN.com, you'll find out how to listen to us on the web, on shortwave, and in some countries on satellite. You'll find it all on EWTN.com.
Talking about Veterans Day.
Okay, so we're talking about veterans. I hope you guys can hear me, okay? But so we're going to JP in Texas. JP, listening on Sirius XM 130. JP, are you there? Welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi, JP.
Well, I just called in. I spent 4 years in the Air Force. I was drafted, and to this day, I don't think it was any big deal because I could say almost ashamed at times because of the way we were treated back then. Mm-hmm. I mean, when we went on leave, they would tell us not to wear our uniforms. And I was involved in the VFW, and it didn't happen to me, but I've heard many stories about when they would come back from Vietnam at the airports in California, they would throw dog poop and garbage and, you know.
That absolutely breaks my heart, JP, and it breaks my heart that we, you know, how on behalf of a country, I want to say I'm terribly sorry you felt that, and all the others. I mean, for you not to be able to feel proud, for you not to be able to display your military uniform and your service. I mean, that breaks my heart. And my personal opinion from looking at history, you know, reading in history and history books, because I was quite young when Vietnam, all the aftermath of Vietnam took place, especially in the media. There was so many personal agendas pushed, JP. So many things were pushed in such a wrong way because the souls of people were not taken into consideration. It's kind of similar how we have with what happens with abortions. We're not taking the soul of that child, the life of that child, in making that the first and foremost important thing. And the similar situation happened with our vets. You know, all of you men and women served so brilliantly, and you answered the call and you did it well. And then you came home to suffer after you really served and you gave every part of yourself. And so, you know what? I think now's the time. A lot of people are starting to really understand that, and they have a lot of remorse and a lot of regret of how they treated the vets. I think we're starting to wake up. So maybe this could be a turning point and a time for you to feel proud again that you served. And I want to say thank you on behalf of the whole entire country. Thank you for serving, JP.
All right. Thank you.
And God bless you. Huh? Go ahead.
The media is the problem, and they're the ones that made heroes out of the ones that ran off to Canada.
Exactly. And here's the thing, though, JP, that's happening today in other things. And so that's why if we don't learn from history, we're not any smarter. We're not even growing in our faith. And so this is why shows like this and your call is so important, because you're teaching us and you're reminding us of what is truly important and to be proud of the things that are good. Stand behind the noble things like you did in serving in the military. And to remind us that on a daily basis is what we need to re-educate. So thank you for taking the call, and thank you for answering the call to the military, JP. I hope you have a very, very blessed day on Veterans Day.
God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, wow. This is just a great a day of just being thankful for our brothers and sisters who served in the military. Jerry shared earlier on the show that he has family members that he thanked, and I have so many as well, from my dad and my father-in-law all the way down to my brothers and my sister-in-law and my nieces and nephews who have all served. So thank you on behalf of our family. Well, dear listeners, we're going to move right along to Mary Catherine in Central Illinois. Mary Catherine, welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Hi, Jerry and Debbie. I sure think you got a good program. My husband was in World War II back in '45. He was building ships in Seneca, Illinois, and then he decided to join the Navy, and then he was on a ship for 3.5 years. But he said many a time it was 3 to 5 months before they would see even land. So he was a very patient person, picked up an old trumpet in the meantime and made their own band on the ship. You didn't even have to be good, But he was a special person because he knew how to sacrifice. And at that time, people didn't know what World War II was about, if they didn't know what Vietnam was about either. But, I mean, the people who complain don't know. I guess we have to be like Christ and on the cross, forgive them for they know not what they do. Mm-hmm. But he was just a giving person, and that's the only way we can get through this world, is to honor our people who have given their all. And then he came home going to be an old bachelor because everything had changed so terribly. And he knew my brothers, and I had brothers that were in the service, and brother-in-laws and cousins. And we started dating, and we had 10 children. And now he has 2 grandchildren in the Navy. Mm-hmm. And he always told our kids and our grandchildren that he received more than what he gave, because he didn't give his life. So, of course, he didn't feel like he had given as much as some. But he just was so appreciative of fighting for our freedom.
Well, Mary Catherine, when you said, I just want to make sure, we're having just a teeny bit of technical difficulty, but I want to tell you something. That is actually in my religious education days, whenever you have any technical difficulties, when you're doing something that you're shedding the light on something and really turning things back to God, there's always that dark side that weighs in and tries to derail it. So this could be...
the devil's working.
Exactly. So this is actually a good thing. We have to know we're on to something when this happens, because we know we're doing the right thing by God. But Mary Catherine, I want to make sure I heard this correctly. So your husband passed away?
Yes, just a year ago. He was 64 years old.
Oh, and his name?
He was a farmer, and we raised our 10 children on the farm. And 8 of those graduated from college with their degrees. And God is good, because God blessed him well.
Wow.
For all of his goodness and giving.
Amen. What's his first name, Mary Catherine? Frank. Okay, because we want to make sure we pray by name for Frank and thank him because he's listening. He's listening, and we absolutely love that. And we love your call. And it sounds like you have a beautiful family around you, a very big family. So God has blessed you abundantly. And we just want to thank you, Jerry and I. And I know Jerry wanted to jump in because he was nodding his head that he wanted to share something with you.
Yeah, well, Mary Catherine, I'm just very inspired by your account here. I have had, as Debbie said, a little bit of a technical problem here with my connection as well, so I've been kind of in and out on the program today. But I just love the fact that, you said you and your husband, Frank, the 10 kids and so forth. And so it sounds like you have certainly been blessed with a great life, and I presume grandchildren and everything like that. So God's blessings are certainly abundant in your life, Mary Catherine, it sounds like.
And when my husband died last year, there were 600 went through his wake.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
And I thought, an old 64-year-old, a lot of times they'll just have an hour before services. But we have a grandson who is a priest, and he was the celebrant. We have a daughter who is the organist. We had grandchildren who were serving. Wow. Our 2 grandchildren that were in the Navy were there in their uniforms, and they covered his casket with the took off the white cloth and put on the American flag, and it was all just nothing but honor and just really honor for his sacrifice.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, Mary Catherine. You blessed our day today. Thank you. You definitely summed up exactly why we wanted to really focus on Veterans Day. Your family example is exactly what should be going on everywhere. When anybody is honoring the military, being at a funeral, at a wake, that's the kind of celebration and the testament we need to show as Christians around. Thank you, Mary Catherine. God bless you. Wow, this is what a day. I've got Holy Spirit goosebumps, Jerry, and it started at the beginning of the show, and then we had that little technical stuff, and I thought, okay, here we go. We're on to something big, because that's what happens, and sure enough it does. And Jerry, I'm filled with complete joy right now.
Very good. Well, let's see what's on the mind of Mary Ann in Rochester, New York, listening on the Station of the Cross. Mary Ann, thank you for calling Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Well, I'm very happy that you're doing this program. Thank you very much. The veterans need to be honored. I'm calling just to show honor to my uncle who just died at 97 2 days ago. He lost his leg in the Philippines in World War II, and for 70 years he's lived never complaining, always cheerful, always full of life, using his DVR, his Kindle, his text right up until he died. And he lost his wife 4 years ago, and as hard as it was being on his own with one leg, he just always showed inspiration to his family and all who knew him, and I would appreciate prayers for his 2 daughters and his whole family, and I just want to honor his sacrifice and show thanks for him.
Well, you just did, Marianne. Tell us his first name so we can start honoring him in prayer and his family.
Ben, B-E-N, Ben.
B-E-N. Okay, you sound so proud of him, and how beautiful is that? And I know this is still shock because 2 days ago it doesn't give you any time kind of to make sense of it. Doesn't matter 97 years young or whatever the age, it doesn't matter. There's always that shock that happens, so you can kind of hear that in your voice. But Marianne, I just want to share one thing that's a little bit on a tangent, a little bit. Just changing gears a little bit because I meant to share this on a previous show. Marianne, you have a great name. I just want to tell you that. My sister's Marianne too. And I just want to all the Mariannes out there, do you guys realize how blessed you are? You have the name of Mary and then Mary's mother. That is the coolest thing. Marianne, have you ever felt that way? What do you feel about? I'm just curious. What do you feel about your name?
Yes, very much so. My mother did say that is how she named me, and then I turned around and named my daughter Anne Marie, and for the same reasons. And it truly, truly is a big blessing.
Wow. Beautiful. Jerry?
Fantastic. Yeah, Marianne, thank you for helping to make this a great day, a great program. We appreciate that. And we wish you all of God's rich blessings and the repose of the soul of your Uncle Ben, who passed away a couple of days ago. All right, Bob in Chicago, hang on. You are next. We got a short break right now, and time to get others of you on this program and honor our veterans today. 1-800-585-9396. It's Take Two with Jerry and Debbie on the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network. Love to have your take as part of the broadcast, so give us a call.
Hi, my name is John. It's not easy being a kid today. You wouldn't believe some of the things that kids talk about on the playground and on the school bus. I know some of it can't be right, so I asked my mom and dad about some of it. I'm glad they listen to Catholic radio because whenever I ask them something, I know I'm getting a straight answer. Kind of answer that Jesus would give me. There's a lot of places to find out about things. But me, I trust my mom and dad in Catholic radio.
EWTN is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If your cable or satellite provider doesn't carry EWTN's full programming lineup, give them a call and let them know you would like to receive EWTN 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
For more information, go to EWTN.com and click on Television.
Hi, this is Tim Staples from Catholic Answers Live. Thanks for listening to the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network.
And interesting to hear Tim Staples' voice on the show today. He served in the Marines, I believe, for 4 years. So we thank Tim for his service today on this Veterans Day. 1-800-585-9396. We're going to go next to Bob in Chicago. Bob, we appreciate your patience there. You've been holding a while. Thanks for calling Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Hi, Bob.
Hello, Bob. You there?
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Doing
how are
all
you?
right. Thanks for your call.
Good. On this Veterans Day, while we're honoring and venerating veterans, I think it's interesting to consider that many veterans and our government have really exercised a wonderful freedom of choice. They've been pro-choice in the decision to send people, men and women, overseas and weigh out the value of other lives, our enemies, to take those lives to proceed on with the way of life that we value here. So I think it's wonderful that you're venerating a pro-choice decision here today.
Not sure I'm following you, Bob. I mean, I would say, first of all, with regard to, any veterans who may have made decisions to sort of advance the culture of death, it sounds like you're talking about around the world, I think we would be in complete agreement with you on that. In fact, it's a different topic, but one that we could cover on this show at some point. Sort of the American exporting of abortion and contraception and all of that, which of course Debbie and I and everyone at EWTN would agree is a total abomination, and the like. But I think when it comes to honoring those who have served, we're just simply looking at the individuals, the men and women, the sacrifices they have made, sometimes very heroic. They may have had to take lives in circumstances where, Debbie, I don't know if you have thoughts on this, but I can't imagine anybody wanting to take someone else's life, even in the context of war. But sometimes that becomes necessary, and this is even setting aside the question of whether a particular war is just or valid, legitimate, or is done for just reasons. So I don't know, Bob. Go ahead, Bob. I want to give you a chance to maybe clarify a little bit more. I may have been completely off base in my reply there.
Well, thank you. A decision to weigh out whether a country sends people to another country to actually take a life for the betterment of an ethic or a cause or freedom or whatever you want to find applicable there is the exercise of freedom of choice. We've weighed out the situation and decided that we value one group of lives over another. Isn't that very, very similar to the pro-life, pro-choice argument? And I'm finding it curious that you all are not finding the hypocrisy there.
Well, can I weigh in, Jerry? Is that okay?
Yeah, please.
Okay. Well, in the case of abortion, and this is we don't have a lot of time to discuss this, Bob, and it's kind of towards the end of the show. So if you would love to keep this conversation going, feel free to email us at take2@EWTN.com, because, war has been around, and war in and of itself is a tragic thing. You're absolutely correct. It's about killing people. You're absolutely right about that. And there's not a single vet, I think, that would say that it's not about that. However, the wars have been around in the Old Testament, all throughout the New Testament. The difference, I think, that with the abortion, the pro-life, pro-choice abortion cause, if you will, is that the child, there's no voice. There's no understand. There's no free will on that child's part at all. That child in the womb is completely sought out and killed. There's a big difference when you're dealing with, just wars or in defense of life, because a lot of times wars are started to protect the innocent. So there's all these different theories that have to be played in. I think it's a really hard argument just to say you're going to put it in the same category with abortion and say that's, apples to apples. I don't know, Jerry, if you want to add to that, but that's my first thought on it.
Well, I was going to say something similar. In the case of abortion, it's always the taking of an innocent life that has done absolutely nothing wrong. And in the case of war, okay, it may be unjust. Believe me, Bob, don't get me started on my opinion about our nation's entry into conflicts around the world and kind of thinking that we have to be the global policeman. But I think that's a separate issue from, should we thank those who have put in the service, who have been in the military, who have often made great sacrifices. And sometimes these wars literally are perhaps, I don't know if you can use the word necessary, but you could have an unjust aggressor, you could have a dictator, you could have a lot of things going on that actually the intervention can also be for the cause of protecting innocent lives, from, say, an unjust aggressor. So, Bob, I don't know if we're getting anywhere with you or not,
right.
But
right. And I just want to say one thing before you go back to Bob, Jerry, because I know we're running out of time. I look at Jesus, Bob. I mean, Jesus did nothing wrong, and he was brutally killed to save lives, and so that's war on our Savior. I mean, so I guess I'm not quite. I agree with Jerry. I'm not quite understanding how you're comparing this. But real quickly, if you could comment, I would be curious. And please email us at take2@EWTN.com. Go ahead, Bob.
I in no way want to detract from honoring veterans in this conversation whatsoever. And Jerry, I do, I appreciate your saying that your concerns about exporting our ideas. I feel the vibe there. This is more of an ethical application of choice, that a government has made a choice in weighing out lives, and I find a direct parallel there with the abortion issue. Now, you had talked about a second ago the innocence and the inactivity of an unborn to be included in the decision. How many veterans in past wars, take Vietnam, knew why they were going overseas, to really understood the political scenario, and that's really not. I don't see their inclusion in putting their lives on the line in that, and that's really not that's not the issue at stake here. It is valuing one life and giving the freedom to weigh out these ethical decisions. Mm-hmm. We live in a free country, and our country does not have any problem sending a living, breathing life overseas to take another one for the sake of freedom or insert said platitude there. But in the case of the Catholic Church and pro-choice versus pro-life, you're not applying the same ethic.
Okay, well, Bob, as Debbie said, we are running short on time, and I don't say that to escape the discussion. I say it because simply we're just up against the clock. Please, again, as Debbie said, feel free to email us there, and we're going to have to leave it at that right now. As far as what the service men and women knew, say with Vietnam, for example. How much information they had, I don't know. I look back at right after the World Trade Center attacks, and what happened right after that. There was this wave of people signing up for the military. It's this patriotic sort of response. I think a lot of people are driven by that, and it's a noble cause for wanting to join the military and be involved in even something like the Vietnam War. So, I don't know. I don't know what was known by those who signed up for Vietnam. I don't know what their motives were. I don't know how much they knew. But again, today we just want to simply give a thank you to those, and you've said it too, Bob. You didn't want to take away from those who have served so faithfully and courageously in the military. So, Bob, thank you for the call. Debbie, I wish we had a little bit more time.
Yes.
You know what, Diane in Fairfax, Virginia, want to end the show with your call, but we've got about 60 seconds. Diane, if you could be brief, we'd love to hear your take. Thanks for calling Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Well done on the last call. I'm calling to say thank you to all the male members of my father's family who have served in the military since the Spanish-American War. And my father served in Korea twice, once as an enlisted man, once as an officer. But as an enlisted man, he came home to go to OCS, and after he left there, his entire unit was wiped out in a battle. So I thank God for saving my dad.
Oh, beautiful, Diane.
Yeah, Diane, thank you for that call, and thanks to all of our callers today. Diane, we're going to certainly pray for the souls of all of your family members who have served. And Andre, I wish we were going to get to your call, and Debbie, the calls are still coming in. But I think my takeaway, Debbie, is it's not an easy thing to talk about war and the things that are associated with war. Killing, taking lives, and so forth. But again, what it gets down to for me is just. You and I, as you said, I think at the start of the show, we wouldn't be sitting here talking on the radio today were it not for those who protected our freedoms. And it's not for us really to determine, the rightness or wrongness of it. God will sort it all out in the end, I guess. So
that's right.
That's
Amen
my takeaway.
to that. Well, that's my takeaway as well. Dear listeners, tomorrow's show, we want you to join us, and we just value your service in the military. So tomorrow we're going to talk about a different topic. Have you left your wild past behind? Wow, this could be an additional topic that we need to explore even deeper. But Jerry and I want to wish you a beautiful Veterans Day. We want to see you tomorrow, so get ready for Take Two tomorrow. We'll be waiting for you. See you then.